Hello and welcome to the Morningscape podcast. I am Matt Moody, joined by DJ Mitchell. We're here to go through the Thursday, January 22nd NHL Daily Fantasy Slate. Let's get on into it.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.
DJ, what do you have to say for yourself?
Nothing good. It's Vasily Podkolzin night. Podkolzin fourth line night.
I mean,
Have you
sometimes, literally every day, DJ sends me every podcast, DJ sends me the thumbnail, and I look at it and I go, okay, whatever. Those are real hockey players. You do real hockey things. Like, what if it were up to me, we'd just click. We put the same five guys in there every slate and call it a day. And today he sends me Vasily Podkolzin, and I went on a mini rant in the Discord yesterday morning, before the game, being like, why is he on the top power play? He sucks. Like, here's a video of him on the top power play. He doesn't know what he's fucking doing out there. Like, it's practice, sure, whatever. But you could just tell. He had no idea what to do with his feet. And I know Leon Draisaitl, whatever, the footwork is it's a little bit choppy because he's a fucking mutant who does mutant things. But, like, you can't just put dudes in Draisaitl's spot and expect them to do Draisaitl things. And what does Dave Semenko do? Someone touches Connor McDavid. He takes a 20-minute penalty. 35% of the field said, yep, Vasily Podkolzin on a 9-game slate. That's my fucking guy. Like, and I still lost. Not even close. Not even close to a win. So, yes, DJ, one day later, puts him on the cover when he's on the fourth line. Probably not even on top power play. Like, this is my show, too. And DJ's out here making it better, but also ruining it.
My hand's up. Can I talk now?
I'm so done.
Is it my turn?
So fucking
Dude,
done.
Listen, the thumbnail is to attract the listeners. We need to give them something to listen to. Does it have to always be the best play on the slate? No. We're here to talk about hockey. We're here to talk about nonsense. We're here to have fun. I realized I don't believe I've used a single Montreal Canadian this year on the cover. So I had to throw on Cole Caufield himself, USA Zone, the hot topic, right? I mean, what are people looking for right now? They're looking for Cole Caufield. They're looking for Vasily Podkolzin. They're looking for the guys that are going to tell them if they should care or not care. And you're a losing loser who loses, even though you faded Podkolzin night. Like, let's be winning winners who win and play good plays.
I played Arseny Gritsuk. I knew it was coming. He's an awesome player. He was an awesome spot. Yep. Glass and Gritsuk absolutely fucking dominated that game. Does it matter? No. Doesn't matter.
No.
I don't even know what else. I played guys who did absolutely nothing last night. And it was just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I played a goalie that gave up 2 goals and then got hurt in the first period. So I had signed off pretty early. What are you going to do? Tough break, tough noodle. LA didn't quite get there for me to give up for a -4 in net.
I don't know if we knew this, but Elvis was sick yesterday. So,
he was
like not going to start. And then he started. And then he was like, yeah, I'm sick. And they're like, oh, okay, cool.
It's just
weird stuff.
It's the dumbest.
It's a very normal game we play.
I thought Greaves was going to start. And they're like, Elvis is in net. And I'm like, I guess he's fucking fine. Okay, no, let's get. I mean, we don't have a huge slate here. We could probably actually try to keep it to a reasonable amount of time. NHL is on never-ending back-to-backs. What do you got to say?
No. We never. I mean, sure, you can say whatever you want, DJ. I got you.
All right, I am going to give a 1-minute slate overview. If you pull up the sheet when you're ready. Hold on,
DJ. Do you think I did the sheet? I did not.
Okay, well then don't put up the sheet because you did not do it.
But I did get through. I did get through 11 of the 16 teams on this slate. It only took me a fucking hour because why is anything easy? It's like
nothing's
literally
easy.
Everyone in Buffalo is tweeting about the fucking coach as if everything's bad.
It's pretty it's actually pretty unbelievable how stupid Terry Pegula is. That like this is news somehow to like all the Bills fans. Really, all of the NFL seems to have taken notice all at once that like He is an absolute fucking asshat. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty stupid. I don't know. I guess like being being like a sports fan, but like growing up a Browns fan, so I like just kind of sure if the Bills do well, I don't care. I don't really watch football all that closely, yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of hilarious to watch people be like, I hate Sean McDermott. He's an idiot. And then they fire him and they're like, that's our guy. We love him. Fuck you. He loved this city. And it's like, yeah, dude, like, cool. Like, I don't know. It's just whatever. I mean, sports fans are all dumb. I am one of them, and I am also stupid.
Yeah,
So
what I will say is okay, here's your stupid sheet people. Here's the stupid rainbow guys who are gonna do rainbow nothings, and let me just make sure Sidney Crosby's at a fucking healthy scratch because that would be very fun.
Here we go. 30 seconds.
Okay,
he's in the lineup. Yeah.
But all right. Anyway, well, about McDermott, he literally got better at the job. Like, because 3 years ago, I was like, "Fuck this guy! Like, he's so conservative. He's a clown. Like, fourth down, like he just doesn't get it. Like, he needs someone. He needs a nerd in his. He literally got more aggressive, and yeah, the league did, but like, he got so much better at the job, and so it's so annoying that these guys are pulling the strings for all of Buffalo sports. Like, just
like. Terry Pagula is a person who got into an industry and fracking that was a no miss. Like if you got in at the right time and you had the capital, you were going to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
And he now thinks he can translate that into sports and it just doesn't work. And he is now fixated on the Bills and thank God because the Sabres are winning and the Bills, my apologies to the fans.
That is true. That did happen.
I don't know. I don't know. Then again, like the NFL, like I'm not, whatever reason, like I, used to follow football closer, Browns fan, etc. But like they allow their playoffs to be a fucking joke. And you can say, oh, he caught it or didn't catch it. I don't care about that. Like let the fucking players decide the game. It cannot be decided by 3 pass interference calls, 3 air balls. Like the sport's a joke to me. Like I just don't care. I mean, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's not serious and I won't take it seriously. Gamble on it if you wish. I certainly do. But it's a joke. The playoffs are different. They need to be treated differently, and they're not. And that's really all that matters. And what else that matters is that we have 2 birthdays today. The NHL.
Oh my God, let's go.
Robbie Fabry, who I have not thought about in a long time. He's on Anaheim, right? Technically? Am I losing my mind?
He's St. Louis. I don't think he's been in Anaheim for a few years.
I don't remember. I just don't think I've thought about him.
Yeah, he's been in the St. Louis lineup, I thought. Yeah, he's with St. Louis right now.
I just don't remember. Okay, St. Louis. And Oliver Moore turns 21, 21st birthday. And Chicago's on the slate.
They are.
He's got to score before he goes and has his first sip of alcohol.
Oh, Robbie Fabry actually played yesterday in Winnipeg.
He did. I just don't.
So there you go.
I just don't remember. He's played 10 games this year. Yeah. Like I feel like I just had not thought about him in a while. You're right. He hasn't been in Anaheim in forever. But regardless, we have 2 birthdays. I mean, the slate.
No. He played there last year. You're right.
Anaheim?
St. Louis, Detroit, Anaheim, St. Louis again.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, slate overview is pretty simple. The rainbow sheet showing it pretty well. Shot volumes way down. Pace is cratering. There's a few good games. There's a few teams that look like they're, better off for goals, but the back-to-back nature is really, really hurting the up-tempo, situation. And how does that change our mindset going into this slate? Well, in my opinion, it just opens the door for stacking through more like power plays and trying to just get into the donkey fest that could exist in any of these games. So I think it's getting more unique. I think it's, stacking power plays and getting crazy. Like, I don't think there's one spot on this slate that I am over the moon and back on. So don't ape into chalk. I mean, is there any thoughts on this that from a smart person that isn't an idiot just spouting off nonsense that you have to say?
I'm sorry. Is there a third person on the show?
New material for the opener, baby.
Yeah, coming from the losingest loser that has ever lost. I do feel like I've gotten away from the overstacking mindset, and that's probably been part of my detriment. Trying to get too much exposure to too many spots I've been trying to do it via game stacks. Like yesterday, I went like Edmonton and New Jersey, and I did like a 3-2 there, and then I played like the best values, thinking like, well, if that game goes crazy, just get some values elsewhere that I like. And I wound up with a lineup with Swayman and a game that finished 2-1 as my core
Right.
pieces. So I think I scored like 10 total points, all of which were Gritsuk points. So yeah, I kind of feel like circling in on one team and really dedicating most of your capital toward that team is going to be in vogue, especially on these middle slates. Because 3-4 game slates, like I get it, it's more common there, and I think you need a more perfect lineup, and it's just hard for 6 guys on one team to put up separating scores, versus a line stack and a line stack. Like if 2 lines hit, you're going to need that pair because someone's going to have it. Someone's going to have it with the nut D and goalie when we're talking about like 3-4 game slates. And then on huge slates, 12 gamers like we often get, I think because there's so many options, the value just doesn't make sense in the overstacking. So like the sweet spot, these 8-game slates, like that's sort of where I see like the overstacks as the best.
Mhm.
Looking through this slate, looking through the matchups, I'm not convinced we have like the a perfect spot to do such a thing. I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now, across a lot of these teams. But that's the sort of thing where like if there's a key injury or something, just sort of covering it in that way is maybe something that I should be looking harder into. So there's some coherent thoughts from someone whose brain is, when it comes to crunch time, just complete mush, and I
Yeah.
probably won't do any of the good things and just the stupid things. So
Yeah.
let's
I
get
think
into
I
it.
think
What's your overview of the slate?
everybody's everyone's bravery meter should be put up, and coward meter should go down because we are in time to win all the money mode. So let's get into how to win all the money and which teams that we like and you should fade. We start with a team that many people I think will like in Dallas at Columbus. Are you ready to get into the Dallas Stars?
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna
That
do
was my
like your
overview.
silly.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I
Oh
did
my
the
god.
birthdays. Let's
Oh,
just get
great.
into the fucking slate.
Yeah. Here's Dallas. Noteworthy from this game, of course, is the Mason Marchment revenge factor. Marchment and Lundestrom will return to the lineup after extended absences. So Columbus getting healthier. They're basically fully healthy outside of Denton Matejchuk. If well, actually Dante Fabro too, I guess. So
Bro.
maybe a
Yeah,
couple pieces, but in any case, and then Dallas, their main question mark is Mikko Rantanen. Missed last game due to, I believe it was the flu. I think it was announced as
it
an
was the flu.
illness, but whatever's going around, I think got to Mikko. If he plays, he's 7,300 in a really good spot. So keep an eye out for that. Without him, they moved Duchesne up to the top line and the top power play. So either way, I think you're getting a killer value right away from the Stars team. J Rob is 8,500. He's sticking with Hintz and Bork. Hintz has been better lately. 11 expected fantasy points per game, 9.4 actual. The expecteds are usually not there for Hintz. I will note, I think DJ, we looked at this the other day.
Yeah,
One of those games was like a 19 shot
12.
attempter or just
Yeah,
something
you get
ridiculous.
12
Yeah,
shots
like
on goal. Yeah,
yeah,
against like
like
Washington too.
Jesus.
It was something. I'm
Yeah,
actually going to
yeah,
look
that
at that game for a
exactly.
second.
That's what it was.
It was just incredibly random. I mean, that's going to happen for guys like him. He's just. Let's just see. If Dallas is a good play, I think it's going to be somewhat popular. I don't think it's going to be insanely popular, but this slate only has a couple pretty obvious spots. There's no McKinnon. There's, I think, there's not that many guys to spend up on that feel great. Like Kaprizov, Pasternak, and then Robertson at wing is the top three in order of price. Rantanen, you already mentioned, if he's back, 7,300 feels like an absolute steal for that guy. Columbus has been pushing the pace under new leadership behind the bench. It's a good game. I mean, it's just one of the better games on the slate. I don't think it's going to get overlooked. And I think if I have the strong indication that Dallas is going to be chalky in either capacity, I might just get away from it or go towards the line that isn't going to be as chalky. And that all just comes down to Mikko Rantanen. Like if he's out, people are not going to this, going to Wyatt Johnston. And if he's in, I think that'll be the most, one of the higher owned stacks of the night. So be interesting. As far as the defense, Miro's back. Miro's been great when he's been in. He's, I think, a little bit too expensive. Like the role is fine, and you could certainly play him, but Harley is getting the minutes as well. So with Harley, Heiskanen, and Lindell, those guys are all seeing 22, 23 minutes, and they're not afraid to play others, especially when they're winning. They're just going to allow those pairs to roll out there. So you're really kind of getting into more of a game stack, I think, when you're playing Harley, and I think that's fine. I honestly, of all the games on the slate, it's one of the, I'd say probably 2 or 3 I'd like to stack the most. So I could see it.
I don't know. Yeah, it was definitely personal why Miro missed time. But leading into that, he had gone 6 games without a point, and he comes back and he plays 24 minutes and 22 minutes in those 2 games. They're not super competitive games, so maybe that's just natural. But he did break out for a 3-assist game against Boston to sort of snap that streak. But yeah, Miro's been in a bit of a rut. I know earlier in the year he was much more consistent. So I agree with you. I think that price is a bit much, though. If you're talking, Nico Johnston, like odds are he's the natural pair, even if he's a little bit too expensive. So I don't think he's like out of play or anything. Harley's an interesting case. He's gone 5 straight games with the blocks bonus. Clearly, the 2 games without Miro are doing most of the work there. But if you're locking in 7 points to start a couple shots, you just really need a point to get to like 3x salary, which is not bad. It's a bit presumptuous, but playing 23 minutes a night in a good matchup, Harley, we know what he can do. So I don't hate the idea. I'm not, I want to see if the field's actually playing it though, because I don't think they will. But I definitely don't want to look at, oh my God, Harley's 13% owned. And it's like, okay, well, if he gets there, I still need to do a ton to win. And I don't know that he has like the 30-point, nuclear ceiling enough to warrant, double-digit ownership on this slate with a lot of cheap D options. So let's keep things moving because I think Dallas is pretty top 6 centric. Pick your poison in the top and look out for Rantanen news. On Columbus, Marchment is confirmed back in the lineup. We did get from practice that Marchment, Fantilli, Marchenko are skating as a line. We do not know the power play units, so keep an eye out for those in the morning if we do get word or any news articles. Like they practiced today, and we didn't get anything besides one tweet saying Marchment, Fantilli, Marchenko. So I don't even know if Jenner, Monahan, Johnson sticks. I don't know if Coyle sticks on the top power play or if Marchment goes back there because right before Marchment went out under a different coach, Marchment was power play 1. So there's a lot of uncertainty here. I have the bottom 6 being Sillinger, Coyle, Olivier. Voronkov is still in the mix, though it seems like under new coach, he's just falling out of favor. So I moved him to the 4th line with Lundestrom and Heinen. It's all a mess, is what I'm trying to say. Be on the lookout. Top line, though, is 17.4K. And they were playing quite well for a couple games before Marchment got injured. DJ, what are your thoughts on Columbus here?
I mean, I don't feel good or too bad about like I definitely think that Columbus is the being braver play in this game, of course. Like Dallas will certainly see more ownership. I would go through Fantilli. Just the pricing wise, it just doesn't feel undoable at 6,100. He is playing all the minutes and shooting most of the pucks. Like I don't think it's necessary. I don't think I'm going to have it, but I certainly see why you play this whole top line together. I'm more interested in it than anything else on this team. It's just who's really the engine here, and that's 8,700 Zach Werenski. It's a pretty tough click in this game on this slate, but he hasn't gotten there for 2 nights in a row. We talked about how he gets, preloaded with 12 points. Well, he's got, 5 games in his last however many, like 5 in his last like 8 without that happening. The explosion game is always sitting there waiting to happen, but the last explosion games were against, the Flames and the Canucks. That's not the Dallas Stars. Is there something to the fact this Columbus team just isn't that good? Can they keep up with a team like Dallas enough to warrant an $8,700 price tag? Like I feel like at that point you're just kind of getting a little too cute with it on an 8-game slate with plenty of other options that are seemingly better that are also not going to be very owned. So I probably just don't go here. But yeah, what are you trying to show the
What?
good people?
Well, the defense chart just doesn't exist. So
Sorry,
that's
sorry for
confusing.
your loss.
Okay. I am I am okay, whatever. Anyway, what I was trying to show is Dallas here. Just their trends over time. They've been very hit or miss, and right now they are in one of their worse, or they're worse off by expected goals difference than now, more so than they have been pretty much at any point this season. And this team does bleed shots against, especially even if they're not necessarily dangerous chances. So a guy like Werenski, I do think could be in play, because we're talking about a guy who has legitimate triple bonus potential. Like, that guy can put up
Yeah,
45 points, and this is a slate pretty much with McDavid and Pasternak, sure, but I think that's a pretty difficult matchup and not a game that I'm very fond of. And then like Kaprizov against Detroit on a back-to-back, like that's really it as far as like true top tier separators. And so Werenski, I do think merits some consideration on that alone. And then, of course, Provorov and Severson as well. With the fully healthy Columbus forward group, they should play a ton of minutes. They get secondary power play time, and both guys shoot as well, though, of course, are nowhere near Zach Werenski level. So I do kind of like the Columbus defense option, and then maybe mixing in a forward or two. But I want to see if we get more information in Morning Skate before I go in on a Kent Johnson or someone who theoretically could be out of the top six. Like, I do not know what their top
yeah.
six looks like beyond that top line. So let's move to Vegas at Boston. Vegas coming off a 2-1 loss to the Flyers, travel across the country to play in Boston. Jack Eichel hometown narrative. Noah Hannafin, I think he's also a mass guy. So there's that. I don't know if these lines are going to stick. They switched some things up last game. So I'm just going to how they started: Barbashev, Eichel, Stone, Kolasar, Hurdle, Bowman, Dorofeyev, Marner, Smith. Brett Howden's on IR, so he's not playing. I think Tanner Lashinsky played last game. I don't know if Colton
He
Sissons is
did.
hurt. Okay, I don't care. I saw he also got power play time, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't. I'm
They
not
were
going
on
to
the
learn how to
power play
spell
the
Tanner
whole fucking
Lashinsky's
game.
name. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
they were on the power play against Philly for like 72 minutes of a 60-minute game. And that doesn't even make sense. But they
it
were.
seems
And they
impossible
still lost.
that they only scored one goal. Yeah, that's the surprising part.
I mean, sure, the
So I
hockey
don't
biz
know.
if you got it up, like it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I think there's a pretty clear point to all of this is they were on the power play for a lot of time and they played one unit that was Eichel, Dorofeyev, Hurdle, Stone, and Marner. The other unit doesn't exist really. It
Yeah,
is Theodore coming in and players like Bowman and Barbashev kind of mixing in when needed. So if you're going to play them, stack through the power play. It doesn't seem too difficult. If you're going to make another pairing out of this, I think it's like Eichel, Dorofeyev, Marner. Just feels obvious. Stone is a bit overpriced, but of course could be played with
yeah,
Eichel.
but he
But
scores every
7,500 is
game.
yeah. Well, what if he doesn't score this game? You ever think about that?
I've said that for a million straight games.
Fair enough. Well, he only has 18 goals in 32 games, so you had to have been right once. I don't think I don't know. Like I don't love or hate Vegas. I do think that you sort of are like who has triple, whatever upside, triple, 3-point shots. I mean, is Eichel going to block 3 pucks? I'd be pretty surprised, but he's done it before in his life. But man, Jack Eichel's playing 20 plus minutes every night. His shot volumes come way up. Like, I do love him just the same, but I just think if you're playing Vegas, like you're clicking Jack Eichel. So what are you doing
Yeah.
from there?
Yeah, I mean, God, like, and yeah. If you play Eichel, I think you're playing a power play stack because Barbashev's been horrendous. I mean, he just stopped doing fantasy things. There's nothing in his expected profile that shows he's going to get there anytime soon. Um, Even the defense options are really weak. Rasmus Anderson, by the way, does not have the necessary immigration paperwork ready, so he's out until at least Friday, apparently. So we're looking at Hanif and Korjak, Lasan, and Theodore is their top six, or sorry, their top four defensemen. They're 5 and 6. Hutton and Magna played, they didn't play at all because, well, power play and also because of who they are as hockey players. So I would not expect them to factor in much anyway, going forward here. So maybe you could play like an Eichel Theodore and get away with it, but these prices I find pretty difficult personally to stomach. And I know it's just going to be a power play fest and they're all going to win, but like I'm not paying 9,500 for Jack Eichel. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. Let's talk about Boston.
Wait, Rasmus Anderson literally can't play tomorrow because he's minimum salary.
Correct. He is, like he's just not, he's confirmed not playing until at least Friday.
What if I call the government and ask?
I mean, I know a guy.
Obama? Okay, let's talk about Boston.
Hey, Hillary, I need a favor.
What are you up to? Not busy? Perfect. We need Rasmus Anderson to play. Anyways, that's where I'm at. Let's get over to Boston. Now, the Boston Bruins got shellacked by Dallas. A good old 6-2 ass to belt fest where Boston, I believe, I don't have the number on my screen, but I think they had like 16 shots on goal. It was like really, really, really ugly stuff. 16 saves for Ottinger. Okay, I was going to say it was something weird. 18 shots, 16 saves. You hate to see it. You hate to see bad things happen to good people. And unfortunately, the Boston Bruins had a lot of bad things happen to them. Now, why they continue to roll out this lineup that you have on the screen of just tomfoolery and nonsense, I get it. Like Pasternak can lift any boat and has made Kuzanadinov into a useful NHL player for a short stint. But like, I just don't think I'm doing this without something more interesting being a lineup.
It probably changes. We didn't see a practice today to know for sure. So that's the main issue. Let's see. I don't know what I'm expecting. I guess we could see Geeky go back to that top line. He finally scored last game, which was cool. Honestly, I mean, really what we should see is we should see Minton play with two good wingers. I mean, before it was Kuznetsov and Pasta, like we should just see him cook with, two of their best players. But I doubt we get that because why would we get anything nice? Mason Lohrei the minimum salary as a defenseman, 2,500. Like, yes. By the way, I think Hampus is back. I missed that. I don't know who he's replacing. Whatever. Hampus is back. I think he's also in play at 2.8K. I just like the Boston side more than Vegas, honestly. Like, I don't think Vegas is playing quality hockey right now. They're getting by on a lot of power play stuff. They're getting by on a lot of star-driven stuff. And right now their stars are playing with dudes like Keegan Colasar and Braden Bowman, and Barbashev's not doing shit. So it to me feels like a Boston slate. I wish I knew what to do because even Charlie McAvoy sub 5K. I mean, we just talked about Shea Theodore 5,300 getting secondary power play time. Like McAvoy, come on down. Like, I mean, he's been just as good. I
mean, this game is a 6.5, and Boston's only a plus 120 dog at home. Yeah. Like, this is a decently high implied team total, and a spot that no one's going to play. I just think again, like this iteration is not that interesting to me. Like, it's always Pasternak, as we already alluded to. Like, massive ceiling is in short supply on this slate, so it's always Pasternak, and I just don't think I'm playing Lindholm and Kuznetsov. So do you just say Pasternak and McAvoy? Maybe. Do you say screw it, like Morgan Geeky? Get back to the old grind of Morgan Geeky? 5K. I mean, it's coming down. Hey. The guy doesn't shoot, but like he's got 26 goals. He finally scored one against Dallas in 13 minutes. I don't know. Keep it. I think he's just keep an eye on Boston. They are interesting, but I'm not buying this iteration.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. I don't think there's much more worth expanding upon. I'll just say this for the podcast people. David Pasternak, last 10 games, 18 expected fantasy points, 17.3 actual. That is, I think, by far the best on the slate. Even McDavid's really cooled off in that regard. in the entire league, only Celebrini's better. Kaprizov is there. He's close. Point and a half less, but way under his actual output. It was 17.3 per game for Pasta. It's 11.6 for Kaprizov. Tage is there. Bennett's there, but they're not all that close to the 18 of Pasta. So if we're looking for like the number one-off play of the night, it's David Pastrnak. And again, I like some of the stacking options, but I just don't know who we stack them with. So wait and see, I guess. All right, on to Chicago at Carolina. Chicago getting Frank Nazar back. Also, I think Burakovsky missed due to illness, so I think he's also back. But we have a confirmed top line, top power play of Burakovsky, Bedard, Green. 15K, almost on the nose for that. 30 expected fantasy points and only 24 actuals. But if you're looking for that 2x of expecteds, Ryan Green somehow actually fits the bill. It's an impossible matchup, so it is what it is. But Levshinov remains 3,400. He's doing a little bit, probably worth the price tag with the power play job and the blocks potential with the matchup considered. Otherwise, just your normal nonsense of Donato not even playing on the power play. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what we're doing here. Nick Foligno. Nick fucking Foligno. Yep. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, the bravest souls will probably play Connor Bedard tomorrow, and I hope they're rewarded. I don't think I quite have that level of bravery against this Carolina team that's sort of back at full force. Slavin and Chatfield are logging all the ice time, killing all the opportunities, while really all four lines, but in reality, the Aho, Stahl down the middle, and a Stankov and Holland and Jackson Blake line that's just holding their own. It's a really tall order to get by for Chicago. I don't think it's necessary. If you're going to play Bedard, I think you're playing Levshinov with it every time. I mean, the ceiling seems to be there with this guy. It's not to the moon, but at 3,400, it at least exists where you could see a slate winner through Bedard and Levshinov, in my opinion. So have at it. Nothing else here really interests me. I'm good to move on to Carolina, which is obviously more interesting, and I think it'll be played. They're a minus 300 favorite in a 6.5. So welcome to your probable highest total of the slate. I think Edmonton at least is in the ballpark, but not quite. They'll be really popular. Aho, Svechnikov, and Jarvis. It's right down the middle, a little bit above, but not bad above. It's very playable. Jarvis has been great since returning. The shot numbers are there to support the price tag. Svechnikov is just fine and certainly can score. And Sebastian Aho at 6,600 just feels, like 3-point upside exists. I mean, he's had 5 points and 0 shots on goal and 0 blocks in the past 2 games. That's sort of what you're signing up for. I think I'm not going to sign up for it. I do think it'll be one of the higher owned stacks of the night. Going along with it could be Nikishin to minimize that price tag a little bit. He's been on the top power play. We don't, I guess, unless if there's some reason to indicate Goss's fair returns that I haven't heard about. I don't think that's going to happen. Then, yeah, you're looking at this kind of value to go along with it. I mean, Nikishin played 18 minutes. I don't think that's too... that still makes him playable at this price, for sure. But, maybe it's enough to keep some people away. I think I'm going to be part of the people that stay away.
Yeah, Gossespierre did not practice on Wednesday, so there's no reason to expect him to return. That would keep Nikishin on the top power play. I don't... At the end of the day, for me, it just boils down to the archetype of the player in the power play one job. Even almost setting aside matchup, if you're getting 18, 19 minutes with this sort of just framework as a DFS player, not just the offense, but also the blocks. He's involved, he picks up blocks and, the hits and whatever else. Obviously that's not DK scoring, but he's so involved in just physically that it's really hard to look at a 3,400 price tag and not play it for me. Versus some other guys where it's you're hoping for either a blocks bonus or a lucky point. And it's for him, he could literally score 2 goals and I would not be surprised. So I don't think I can fade that regardless of ownership. Um, do I want to play it with Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis? Absolutely not. Like that ownership, their profile, just it all just strikes me as incredibly icky. Again, Seth Jarvis is a guy who is nearly 7K, and he has cleared 20 DK points. I think this is updated, but when I look, it's like 5 times this entire season. He's played like 40
Yep.
games. It's like we're
42.
talking about a guy who almost never gets there. And even when he does get there, it's not getting you to like a level of actually winning. So yes, could he score 35? He could, but like it's not actually as often as you need it to be in order to really challenge the top of the leaderboard. So if that's going to be the chalky spot, then I'm willing to play with fire and say, yeah, Nikishin can have a great game, and
Yep.
still Jarvis doesn't separate in that way. And Svechnikov, Aho, I think they're a little bit different, so it's probably just noise with regards to Jarvis. But it does tell me that there's at least a path to Nikishin, Svechnikov, or
Yeah.
some mini stack here working in a way that maybe the full stack doesn't need to. That the field I think is going to prioritize.
Yeah, I mean, just taking a look at the last game against Buffalo at home, like Nikishin played with Blake, Hall, Stankoven, and the fourth line, way more than the rest. So, yeah, if it comes to the power play, it comes to the power play. What are you going to do? But if it has to kind of all come through the power play and sort of a perfect vacuum for Nikishin to get there with every the top guys kind of coming along for the ride. So I like the theory you have here. I'm in on it. I have no problem with that idea, if anything, but we can keep it moving. The game of the night, Buffalo, Montreal. I say that as a homer, but I also say that as somebody that cares about the good hockey game that will be played in the Bell Center. Should be a fun one. I mean, 6.5. There's only one player that's incredibly expensive in Tage Thompson. And, it's just frankly, there's a fight for this third spot in the Atlantic right now. I mean, really, the top 2 spots in the Atlantic feel up for grabs, and there's plenty of teams trying to chase it down. So we start with Buffalo, coming off of a road back-to-back where they skated by the skin of their teeth. They start hot, and they just got absolutely mollywopped for a period and a half on a back-to-back on the road. The minutes for Dahlin, 28, Samuelson, 26, Byram, 24, Power, 23. The top lines were, they really rolled 4 lines as much as possible. Consta Helenius was like the 6th or 7th highest scoring player on DraftKings. What are your thoughts on this Sabres team? Is there any player that's standing out? Are you interested in some of these young guys? Is there a cheap option that you like more than others? Are you going to be a Costa believer?
Yeah, I mean that's really I think the interesting thing that the Sabres offer is that middle line. Well, I guess you call it third line, second line, whatever. But Benson playing with Ostlund and Helenius. Ostlund's on the top power play. Like that has been the case now for a few games without Josh Norris. The Duke can play. I mean, he is I think a star level type player. With the puck on his stick, and that's really all we can ask for at 3,100 on a power play one in a not overly imposing matchup defensively. So yeah, would I prefer to play Tage and Doan? Like, yeah, I would prefer those guys, but they're 13.2K. So if you want a piece of the top power play in Buffalo, Ostlund is playing with the Kingmaker, 90th time I've said that, but Zach Benson. No surprise that Consta Helenius playing with Benson and Ostlund had a first period 24 bomb or whatever it was that you said he did.
He had
20.
Oh yeah,
23.
No, he had all. Yeah, I think you're right. He had almost everything in the first period.
Yeah. Yes,
I think
it was all in the first.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I was gonna say I thought he had an assist in this early second, but no, I'm wrong. Okay.
So Helenius is probably, I would say, like just because we've not had enough time with him as a professional, like Helenius is the higher ceiling player than Ostlund. But Ostlund right now is on the top power play. And he doesn't look out of place. So I would definitely prefer Ostlund here. And then if you want to stack Benson, Hellenius. I guess you can, but I don't think you need the salary for much here. Like maybe Edmonton stuff, you need that salary. But ideally, I think you're playing Osland, and then you're using that to fit in a Dahlin or something with a stack in the mid tier. Because honestly, you could even play Tage with Osland. I mean, Tage is just doing everything right now. So any sort of Sabres power play stack is what I'm in on here. That's about it.
I mean, I don't think this is like a necessary stacking option, but like you could convince me to play power or really, I mean, I'd say Samuelson as well. It just feels like we've seen enough at this point to say there's something here, but like the amount of ice time these four defensemen are getting is what really something I wanted to highlight. We didn't get the power play usage in Byram that we were hoping for, but these guys all kill penalties, especially Samuelson and Byram, with power sort of being the next guy over the board. And they're just involved, like you're mentioning, shooting, blocking. There's just upside in these players in a Buffalo vacuum that like to build around. I'm not saying you have to stack them or one off them or whatever. Like Nikishin's a way better option as a one off and just a better option in general. But if you are playing Buffalo, you just can't possibly get to Dahlin. Like I think you're stupider things than playing one of these guys alongside. But that Buffalo, I think you covered really well. I really don't have anything to add other than like, yeah, Tage in any situation makes sense. Of course, he makes a lot of sense with Josh Doan. 5,100 is kind of getting pretty pricey for a guy that just isn't shooting. So I'd probably rather just play a guy in Noah Austin he's in the Josh Norris spot. Like that is the spot where they are going to be looking for someone to be shooting the puck. His volume isn't crazy, but it's definitely going up as he's getting more time on the ice. And he's scoring goals because his shot's good. So
shout out to Mattias Samuelsson. Shout out Mattias Samuelsson. Expected fantasy points, actual fantasy points, exactly 8.68 over the last 10 games. Thank you for being that guy today.
What a hero.
On the Montreal side, Kirby Dach is back. I missed that. I was like, I'm going through and I'm like, what am I missing here? I'm like, this doesn't look. And then I'm like, wait, Dach, that's Kirby Dach. Yeah, just welcome back. At one time, he was a moods dude. I don't know that anyone can claim him anymore because he just hasn't played enough. But he's playing on the top line in place of Texier, and Texier just straight up went out of lineup. So that was interesting. Given they won, I don't expect that to change. But like, I guess we could see Texier draw back in at some point. But in any case, Doc, Suzuki, Caufield, Slafkovsky, Kapanen, and Demidov, Anderson, Deneau, Gallagher, and then Bolduc, Evans, Valeno. They did switch up their D pairs a little bit. That's not Gooley. That's supposed to be Jaden Struble. But basically, Lane Hudson got demoted almost to like a third pair time on ice role. He did not play much at 5-on-5 in this game, despite them trailing throughout. So that's noteworthy. Matheson, Dobson are the clear top pair, and then Gooley, Carrier getting, just more top 4 run. Maybe that was a matchup specific thing. I don't know. But Lane Hudson's 5,700. Like, yeah, he's on a bit of a points heater right now, but we know the deal. He's not doing a ton otherwise to get you fantasy points. So I think you're playing Lane Hudson in stacks only. DJ, setting aside your Terry Pegula's the best donor on the planet, and the Sabres going to win the Stanley Cup. How do you feel about the Montreal Canadiens?
I mean, I think like you literally were like Zach Benson, kingmaker. But what makes that interesting is how cheap he is. On the other side, it feels like Nick Suzuki is also a kingmaker, and that's just not like that's just because he's really good at hockey and shown that for a very long stretch. And as the prices have gone down, I've just been more and more interested in the Caufield and Suzuki situation. But
is Bill Guerin in charge of DK pricing or something? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I just don't really get it. Like, yeah, that's really the problem here is how cheap it is. Like, to a concerning volume that like you could play Carolina 1 and Montreal 1. Yeah, I think you just can't. I don't know how that gets super overlooked. You play Nikishin, you probably don't play Lane Hudson. I mean, you're sitting super pretty with that lineup. Like, I just don't see how it doesn't get some level of chalk. It doesn't make sense. Like, Buffalo has been giving up opportunity against. I mean, they're they're not playing bad, but that game against Nashville might look in a decent way towards models. Like, I don't know. I think Montreal's going to be somewhat popular. So like that's the problem here. It's certainly a great play. I mean, like Suzuki, Caufield, and Doc, or not. Like, don't play Doc if you don't want to. I don't really care. The guy had 3 blocks and 2 shots and played 17 minutes. He's just not named Alex Texier, so people won't click on him. But like, he's probably better than Alex Texier. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing but good things to say here, other than I don't know how they're not one of the most owned stacks of the night.
Yeah, in that part's definitely concerning. Because I don't think Buffalo's a team you can pick on. Like, if anything, it's Suzuki Caulfield, and that's it as far as who I would trust to, quote unquote, pick on the Sabres here. They're going to play, I think, again next week, Sabres in Montreal. So maybe we can do like a head-to-head analysis for the third game of the two games prior this month. But I know the Sabres won the first matchup in a bit of a high-scoring affair. So I certainly would play Montreal with the Sabre on the other side. It's sort of
it's a 6.5. I mean, again, I said like game stacks and this and that. Like, this is the number one game stack of the night. It's just easy. I think people will do it, but I don't think it's that hard to get away from the chalk on that, especially with using different pieces on Buffalo. Like, do you think Noah Austin's actually going to be that owned?
Of course not. No, not a chance.
No. So like, I kind of like that angle a lot. Like Cage, Austin, Montreal 1. Maybe you fade defense or have to get different, but like there's options here for sure to put something together that I think is really nice. But we could keep it moving. I said we try to keep it to an hour, and we're behind pace, I believe.
Just a little bit. Ottawa
Shocking.
heading into Nashville. Ottawa's lineup: Batherson, Stützle, Zetterlund, Tkachuk, Cousins, Gregg, Giroux, Pinto, Amadio, Cousins, Eller, Perron. Top power play: Batherson, Stützle, Tkachuk, Cousins, Sanderson. So same deal as before. We get the two pairings on the power play one between Batherson, Stützle, and Tkachuk and Cousins. DJ said some unspeakable things about Cousins last night, so I can guess which way he's going to go in this one. But yeah, I don't know. Heading into Nashville, I really like the way Nashville's played as of late, so I'm not super in on the Ottawa experience here. Is Linus Ullmark, like, I think he's traveling with the team, so yeah, let's just assume with the team. All right. If it's Merrilainen though, or actually it's Matt Sogard, isn't it? That's probably the guy, right? No, I don't know.
Sogard
Who the
and
hell does
Merrilainen
DK think starting?
Salary.
Yeah, that's
probably Reimer
sort of
again.
Oh, that's right. He's Oh God, oh my God. All right, let's just get through Ottawa because my God, Nashville. Okay.
Yeah. I know that the problem with Ottawa is Nashville's been good. Like, I know the results don't always follow, but like, I don't think that's a fantasy issue to deal with. Yeah. And like, so like, this is game stackable. It really, again, like you could play an Ottawa piece or two and play Nashville on the other side. Like I think this is a
Did we lose DJ? Let's see. Yeah, I think we lost DJ. Okay. The only other thing that I'll mention, because I don't think he actually got to saying anything of substance, is the combination of Tkachuk and Cousins last 10 games, 24 expected, 22 actual, and similar salary to Stützle Batherson, who have 18 expected and 18 actual. DJ, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know where I left off.
All right. I don't think you had really given your Ottawa take yet. You were sort of preambling still.
My Ottawa take is A, that I think Nashville is a much better side of the coin here, and B, I think if you're like playing a game stack here or something, like I'm probably just going with Brady, to be honest. I almost think you could just play Brady by himself and then stack Nashville on the other side, and
Yeah.
there's cheap options elsewhere. Like I really like Cousins is fine. Like you could certainly play him with Brady. Like, yeah, I'm mad he didn't get a third shot on goal, but I'm also an asshat, so it's not his fault. Like, what was he supposed to
Wow.
do about it? But he
Wow.
just feel like I just feel like Ottawa is not putting together a lineup that is allowing for a ton of upside in fantasy, but that's also just probably my
Okay.
biased take after watching them. We can move on to
I
Nashville,
mean,
who is certainly
I will say their structure, their system is certainly a detriment to fantasy scoring. Like they are
yeah.
very defense first. They play that Amadio, Giroux, Pinto line a ton, and that line just puts the clamp on a game. So I don't think that take is unfounded. On the Nashville
Thank
side,
you. First time I did something right.
yes, great job. Round of applause for DJ Mitchell, everyone. Uh, on the Nashville side, we have Evangelista, O'Reilly, Forsberg, Stamkos, Howella, Bunting. There's a slight chance that they revert to March or so in the top six after losing the Buffalo on Tuesday, though they were down almost immediately and they didn't really do that. And they came back. You know, you mentioned it. They scored 3 times and Sabres really just had to hold on. So they did play pretty well in the second half of the game. Meaning, I don't think there's a guarantee we see them change things up as a result. So I still think Steven Stamkos is an awesome value at 4,900. I would like to see him play with O'Reilly because Howella just kind of stinks, but it is what it is. Evangelista and Forsberg just seem back. Forsberg seems back. Evangelista just continues to roll. The Ryan O'Reilly of it all is really interesting, though, because when you look at his recent stats, he does not look like the Ryan O'Reilly that we know and love. And so I'm sort of curious, like, how much we actually buy this resurgent Ryan O'Reilly. Obviously, he had the hat trick against Colorado and a pretty incredible effort on his part. But beyond that, he's been shooting more. He's been quite involved in a way that we don't normally see as the facilitator here. So, DJ, if you are into Nashville, is Ryan O'Reilly like in your mix, or are you looking to sort of take his line mates as a priority?
I think it's all of them. I mean, I think it's all three. I feel bad leaving Roman Yossi out of that mix because it feels like there's more upside here, and we've seen it lately. But it's going to be tough to get all four of them in. I mean, I guess the one concern more than anything is like, is Ottawa good enough defensively at 5-on-5 to concern you? With Nashville having enough upside, I don't know if that's completely deterring me. I definitely, think their goaltending is far and away the worst, and I just don't believe goaltending matters as much as anybody else. And there's probably more to something Ottawa's doing structurally, as we're kind of talking about, that's leading to some of this really bad goalie results. And it's not volume based, but it's got to be something. Like there's just more here, and I don't think Nashville's going to be popular. So yeah, I mean, I think it's that line. I could also see, like again, I think Roman Yossi just feels a little bit too expensive, but certainly as of late, he's been a lot better. So, are you again
Yeah.
4-man, or is there a 3-man version you like the most?
Yeah, I'm almost of the mindset that like maybe we leave Evangelista off, which doesn't feel great, but like I also am not sure I want to play 4 Nashville Predators.
No,
And I do think Yossi would be on my priority list.
would hate to
Unless I'm
overstack.
playing.
Honestly, you said you wanted to overstack on. That would be dumb.
Well, there you go. DJ hoisting me by my petard once again, because I'm gonna play like a fucking coward, I'm sure.
By my petard, what are you talking about?
Hoisting someone by their petard.
This is the saying that people have used in real life. Please, everyone in the Discord, comment if you've ever heard this phrase. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm also going to text our friend Dan and ask him if he's ever heard anyone use this phrase, because I said "wet my beak" the other day, and he said he has never heard that. And that's a phrase I feel like.
Yeah, I mean that is a phrase. Like,
So you're hoisting them by their Connor Bedard?
No.
By their Pitard with an E. Petard.
Yes.
See, I thought
like
this was like a
Petard.
leotard, and it doesn't sound like that's the case, actually.
No, I don't know what exactly it is.
What is it? MK. I don't think she's listening. I need to go ask her. You know what? I'm gonna go ask her. You talk about Nashville a little bit longer.
What are we doing? What have we done? Roman Yossi 6,500 though. He does seem like he's rounding in the form, which he said he would be good for the Olympics, and it does seem like he is going to be the Roman Yossi we know and love for the Olympics. 6,500, a matchup against a team that just isn't stopping any hockey pucks. James Reimer could be their goalie. I think Roman Yossi is sort of going to be the engine behind this. So if you want to play Yossi with Stamkos and pick one of the second line guys, I think that could be an interesting little stack there just for power play one. Goodness.
She said,
I'm going to move.
No, she's never heard of that, and that's illegal.
Illegal.
And she said you can't say that anymore.
That's not going to stop me. I've read a book, DJ.
I like Kitty said books are cool, DJ, which I could. I need people to tell me where they've heard this.
You've never heard of hoisted by my own petard?
Okay. No. There's a book called this.
Because it's a very common saying.
You could buy it on Walmart.
I'm not going to buy the book.
Buy the book. I never finished texting my friend Dan.
Okay.
I did. He said, never thought about it that way.
What's that even mean? What are we doing? DJ, how is this our life? You are getting up in the middle of the podcast to question the words I am saying instead of just using the Google machine to figure out what the phrase means.
Because that's not the point. The point is that I've never heard of it. Not that it doesn't exist.
God. All right. Florida at Winnipeg.
I just texted him and said hoisting someone by their petard. He said, I've never thought about it that way. That's a great response. We're having a lot of fun on this podcast. Click like, subscribe, and comment for more petard-related conversation. We move forward as nobody wants us to do and wants us to stay on this topic to the Florida Panthers. Seth Jones out. Jackson Lacombe in. USA, baby. Matt, back to you in the studio.
Oh, yes, of course. That is what the people are clamoring for. It does look like last game when Florida just got bodied by San Jose. Tough scenes there. I don't care about the fourth line. These guys might not play. Who cares? Matthew Tkachuk did move up alongside Verhaeghe and Bennett. The power play, he must have taken a stupid penalty. Okay, so I'm not seeing Tkachuk on a power play unit, but he got some power play time. I don't know what's going to come of this. Most importantly for their power play, though, is Uvis Balinskis, because he's been up there for a few games. He's done quite well on the power play, not so much a 5-on-5, but it is what it is. It's to the point where I think so long as Tkachuk's on the power play, you could easily make a 4-man argument for Florida. You could do a little game stack here. Winnipeg's been playing well, but I don't think they're impervious. And we know that Florida has the upside to do almost anything to any team at any moment. It's just a matter of getting the right spot. But in a limited sample, of course, this line of Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk is 19.2K, and over the last 10 games, that's 35 expected fantasy points per game. One of the better marks on the entire slate, which is large part thanks to Sam Bennett just being pretty resurgent. But Tkachuk's been fine in his return shooting-wise, and then Verhaeghe's been, average, but his price isn't super high at the moment. So I would prefer the second line here. I also believe that Lindell Reinhart will get the Scheifele matchup, which is just, I think, worse, generally speaking, and especially worse because Josh Morrissey tends to be attached to it. But any thoughts on Florida from you? Or are you still thinking about petards and all relevant forms
It's
of
from
hoisting?
Hamlet.
Cool.
It's from Hamlet. Yeah, the
Okay.
MK was just texting me a bunch of stuff about it. She called you Hamlet boy, basically. Because I was listening to most of what you said. I would very much agree that it's for Hagee, Bennett, Kachuk. That's what I would play if I was playing Florida. I think that is a decently brave stack because it's direct leverage off of the Carolina chalk, and people just are like, I think there's a cohort of donkeys that are like, you know what? Winnipeg is going to make a comeback. They're going to resurge. Hellebuck's going to be fixed, and everything's going to work out just dandy. I'm not
Hi,
really one of
I'm
them.
here.
Wait, what?
No, I was saying hi. I'm here. I think.
Oh, you're one of the donkeys.
I think so. Yeah.
You
They just gotta pass
individually.
San Jose, dude. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing?
Have
Like,
you
of
ever
course
thought
they can
about
do
how
that.
hard that might be?
Oh God.
So anyways, the moral of this story is I'm fine with the second line. I think that's about it. I do worry about actually clicking on Belinsky's. Like, we've seen this before, but maybe not this kind of usage he's getting right now. I guess he just is going to get re-signed power play 1 and actually play. So I think it's clickable. I mean, the whole thing feels clickable. It's all just completely taking Carolina 1 and saying I'm going another way that hopefully doesn't get as much ownership. And I think
Okay.
has just as much, if not more, upside.
The Winnipeg side, I think, is genuinely interesting. Once again, they've been playing better lately. Let's see, Mr. Danny Zhilkin comes out.
Mm-hmm.
We figured out who that was last show. I guess he's no longer in the lineup, so here we go. In case you couldn't tell, this was about where we had to go live. So, these final 2 games, I'm sure, will be a drag, just like the first 6 were. But what I wanted to talk about was Jonathan Toews, because he looks good now. Just like, looks good. This line, Perfetti, Toews, Velarde, looks good. They're creating stuff. Toews, net front on the power play, they look very good. I don't know. I'm pretty worried because I'm almost certain that just like last week we were like, yeah, this Toews guy fucking sucks now. It's done. It's over. He's dust. And then I was like, well, he's on the top power play. Let me bet on him. And then I watched him and I'm like, wait, this is awesome. And then you look and Cole Perfetti's, smashing and he's smashing the expected. So he shows up on the rainbow chart values piece. And so I'm like, well, then I can play the stack. And Velarde's out here doing things and he's getting cheaper. And so this second line on Winnipeg really speaks to me. So DJ, can you talk me out of it?
No, I can't talk you out of this either. I mean, I think I could. I really think like this game is quite intriguing, and I guess the concern is I feel like this line is going to see the Bennett, Verhaeghe, Kachuk line, right? I mean, that's probably the plan here. That feels
I would
a little bit concerning. Is probably the talk against them.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think I'm going to have Winnipeg too. I definitely think price wise, it's one of the better stacks of the night. I just don't think it's going to end up being in my lineup. Like, I just think that I'm going to be playing differently and losing.
Playing differently and losing. Boy, truer words have never been spoken. Which, by the way, just wanted to pull up. Now we have 100 minutes of Perfetti, Toews, Velarde, and they actually look good. They're outscoring their opponents 4-2, 4.6 expected goals to 3.5. They're actually getting outshot, which is interesting. So they are getting like dangerous chances in results in a way that the actual donkey chucking nature of their opponents doesn't align up with. Do we know any donkey chuckers on Florida like Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk that will gladly take advantage of shot bonuses without much by way of results? Interesting.
Doesn't sound
very,
like
very interesting. That's all I have to say, though. Connor Scheifele, Iafallo, it's fine. Like, Iafallo stinks, though, and I've already talked myself into the cheaper guys, so why pay up for Connor Scheifele when we have Jonathan Toews at home? All right. Pittsburgh, Edmonton. Pittsburgh's lineup. I I think Chris Letang could play. Like he was seemingly very much a question mark for the Calgary game. I would not be surprised if he played against Edmonton. So that could throw the lineup out of whack. Let's see: Raquel, Crosby, Russ, Chinikov, Novak, Malkin, Mantha, Kindle, Brazeau. Oh my God, they didn't change anything. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So here's Pittsburgh. I don't know. Any interest in them going into Edmonton on a back to back?
Not a ton. Malkin's been very, very, very good. 5,400 though is like not that insane of a value when I think there's other guys that are doing similar work to him. Chris Letang was out, as you said. Could be back though. Like it sounded like a pretty true game time decision. So something to keep an eye on. If not, Brett Kulak, revenge narrative plus power play 1 plus all the minutes is going to be of note. Pittsburgh up 1-0 against the Flames as we're recording at the right around the end of the first period. I think it's intermission. Yeah, I mean, there's like 3 very decent, cheap defenseman options. I think Kulak has the most usage of all of them, and it's the cheapest. So, sure, Edmonton has no Draisaitl, and we're talking about like who's going to play with McDavid if it's not Vasily Podkolzin. So that means it's probably Nugent Hopkins, and that means that a bunch of other, schlubs are going to be out there. And Pittsburgh's been good. I mean, I don't really see any problem with stacking Pittsburgh, to be honest. I just don't know what that formula looks like. It includes Kulak, but I don't know what the rest of it exactly would be, in my opinion. That is like a slate winner.
Yeah, the annoying thing
line, but
yeah, the annoying thing about Pittsburgh is that Sid is just, I think, price is high on name value alone. But Raquel and Rust are like legitimately underpriced for what they've been doing, shots wise, chances wise. Like they've been getting really, really good looks, and Raquel's contributing right now on the score sheet. Rust maybe not so much. But like that line as a whole costs 20.5K, which isn't great. You're talking 39 expected and 35 actual. But if you isolate it to just Raquel and Rust, you're talking 12K for 2 dudes who combined for 28 expected fantasy points and 22 actual. And like that's a really good number. But it's just really hard to, how do you leave Sid off is basically the moral of the story. So that is something I think to think about. Yeah. Otherwise, Mantha, Kindle, Brazeau, they kind of feel like Carolina too, but maybe way less owned. We know that the Edmonton depth is horrible right now. I talked to begin the show about Glass, Gritsuk absolutely dominating Edmonton. Like I like those guys, but I also think Mantha, Kindle, Brazeau is a good line. Kindle's definitely going to be a good hockey player. Mantha I think is pretty good, and Brazeau's been quality in Pittsburgh so far.
I know that might actually really be quite a sneaky little cheap stack that no one's going to be on. It's power play 2. It's a back-to-back, which is a thing, but like also that just probably means they're just going to roll 4 lines.
Yeah,
and might benefit them. Like,
yeah, this is the 4th consecutive. I think this is part of a 4-game streak for Edmonton on a homestand, playing only teams that played the night before in Calgary. So that's pretty crazy. And so obviously the Devils just did that and kind of dominated them.
I think there's a decision to be made on the Pittsburgh side if you're going to play them, and that decision is pretty fruitful in many capacities. I kind of really like the idea of it, and honestly, I like the idea of even playing part of that Pittsburgh with Edmonton on the other side. Edmonton playing a back-to-back team with a very, very, very concentrated top line that's going to be doing all of the scoring and probably seeing the hardest minutes against, I assume, Crosby and players of that ilk and not this third line. So yeah, McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Bouchard. I think you could reasonably say Jack Roslovic is of consideration maybe with that unit as well, just with the usage he got in that game. Jake Wallman, here you go, another guy that's actually shown the capacity of upside and getting the role that we've talked about with a few others. 4,100 is most expensive of this iteration, this grouping, this gaggle, as Matt might say, of power play 1 cheaper defensemen. But I think it'll be popular. I mean, there's there's only so much you can do with Edmonton. I think if you're gonna push the chips in on McDavid, you're going all the way because others I feel like might use him as a one-off and punt somewhere and then try to get one of these stacks we mentioned that'll be chalkier before. So I think it's all or nothing here. It's the full gambit, or why'd you show up? Play the whole power play or don't play at all.
Yep. And like I mentioned at some point, McDavid's been pretty lackluster in his expected fantasy point production versus where he was, say, 5 games ago. He's down to 14, which is still obviously a very good number, and 16.5 actual fantasy points per game. But you need to consider he's 10,000 DK dollars. So, it does sort of put you in a bind quite quickly. The Podkolzin of it all, he's not confirmed off the top power play. Like, last game was strange. He started on the top line, was supposed to be top power play, and then took an instigator in the first period. So, like, he just wasn't out there for the second period power plays because he was gone for 17 minutes of game time at minimum. And so I think it's possible that Pat Colson sticks on the top unit. But because they moved him to the fourth line in practice, it's like, are they really going to prioritize him? Like, I think Wallman was fine there. So that's what I'm guessing happens, but it's not a guarantee. So just keep that in mind. If consensus forms one way or the other, that we're really not sure who the main benefactor is because Draisaitl remains out. They're likely going 11-7 as well, so that's noteworthy. Finally, but yeah, Tristan Jarry or Ingram should be the starter. All right. Anything else?
Nope. Final two teams of the night. We start with back-to-back Detroit. A lot of back-to-backs going on right now. The top line was all you needed. Again, if you played anything else, you failed pretty miserably on Wednesday. Is Marco Casper back? Question mark. I don't think he's as back as you have indicated here, but he's been better. The top, I think that the thing that was sort of happening with Detroit is they were putting Larkin with truly the dregs of society. And as they've put him with real line mates, he's just been much, much better. Like Lucas Raymond is a very legit player. I think Marco Casper is at least a guy, hopefully, down the stretch. Certainly hasn't happened to start the year, but as he's been rounding into form as of late, getting usage, maybe that could continue. So I'm not that interested in Detroit. They are different, which is of note since the last time we spoke. JVR has continued to be great at the price tag, but losing that main role on the top line is going to only create his 5-on-5 minutes. So I think I'm out on this team in general, but there's stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing Minnesota or playing them against Minnesota here. Minnesota's been a bit worse defensively than you might expect. I don't know if you're expecting Minnesota stuff, but because of their injuries and everything, I guess it makes sense. But they've been below average in expected goals, Corsi against, and goals against. Their goals against are getting pulverized right now. Which probably some regression baked in there with the goaltending hot streak they went on a month ago. So Detroit could benefit from that. The top line is very inexpensive, 15K. Second line, 16.5K is a little bit more expensive, but honestly been quite good for that price too. 32 expected, 31 actual. So I don't know what I prefer. I don't think I'm going here. But you're not crazy for trying to get aboard the Detroit train. I want to talk about Minnesota, though. I actually don't know what their lineup's going to be, but they're a very interesting team right now because Vladimir Tarasenko is just going fucking apeshit. This is not the first stretch of games where he's been top power play where he's done this. So it does seem real. It doesn't look like they practiced today, but because they lost on the last shift last night. I don't know if anything really changes. So, DJ, talk to me about Minnesota while I update the sheet with what they did last game.
Yeah. Brian Hartman has been on the top line, top power play with Zuccarello and Kaprizov as they're updating. Boldy and Eriksson Ek doesn't seem like they're going to be in again. So that has been really the bread and butter. It's been completely glued to Quinn Hughes as well, who is just everything for this team. Brock Faber has come along for the ride and been very useful. 5,600 is certainly getting carried away, but this entire stack I think is really interesting. Ryan Hartman, of course, has come up in price, which is tough, but 5,300 for this role isn't unplayable. Zuccarello, 5K, around the 9,100 Kaprizov and a $7,600 Quinn Hughes. Really expensive, but there's a ton of cheaper stacks tonight that I like a lot. So I kind of like this whole four man. I think this is the kind of put your nuts on the table play of the night. Will it see some ownership? Like, sure, I think something, but not nearly as much as many others in a somewhat similar price range. And because it just gets a little bit uncomfortable after you play all four of them. Like, it's a bit expensive, but against a back-to-back Detroit team that I just don't really believe in that much, I think I'm going to bat here. And if I don't come out the other side for the 15th time I played Minnesota this year, well, it's just like all the others. So
yeah,
I'll be the what's it called again? I'll be out by my.
You'll be hoisted by your own petard.
Hoisted by my own petard.
Okay. Ridiculous. I hate it here. It's all stupid.
You want to know what Dan said back when I said you said that on the podcast?
Oh God.
I'm not sure what even context that would ever have that would make sense for this to be used.
Well,
like you broke his brain. There's so many words there.
I guess he's not a faithful listener of the show to realize that this show is about way more than just hockey. It's about the two dumbest people on the planet pretending they're intelligent enough to have people listen to them. All right. My thoughts on Minnesota here, now that you managed to give me some breathing room to think about it. Okay, 19.4K for that top line, fully correlated. 37 expected fantasy points here. Zuccarello doing stuff is nice. We do like to see that. Kaprizov is due some regression. I talked about it, but 17 expected, 12 actual over the last 10. The minutes obviously are as high as they'll ever be right now. So maybe no Boldy, no Eriksson Ek makes it tougher to convert those into actual fantasy points. But, Hartman, Zuccarello aren't bad, and the matchup's pretty good against Detroit on the road back-to-back. By the way, this is the last game on the slate. It's a 9:30 start, so sorry to the Minnesota locals going to this game, but national TV rules all. But yeah, Tarasenko, 4,300. The guy's on a fucking heater. It's 3 games. I'm sure someone somewhere has a stat of. Yeah, I'm sure of what someone has put together. Oh, Tarasenko without Boldy, Eriksson Ek in the lineup. With one of those two out, I'm sure he's significantly better than a $4,300 price tag player. Is that sustainable? Well, that's up to the loyal listener to figure out, because I have no idea. I want to say no, but he already has more goals than he did all of last year. So if he was truly dusty, that wouldn't be the case. Also interesting, Quinn Hughes, Brock Faber, their prices continue to skyrocket, but the production is as high as ever. Their usage is as good as you're going to find in the entire NHL. 30 minutes a night for both of them, glued together, getting power play time. And I honestly can make an argument for either or for both in a stack. These guys just rock. They look really good together, and they're doing offensive stuff that is just jaw-dropping from a defenseman. And both of them, honestly. So Brock Faber is almost turning into Brent Burns in front of our very eyes. But Brent Burns did it himself, and Faber has Quinn Hughes setting him up. So it's not quite a fair fight, but yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so much fun to watch.
5-man Minnesota stack. I get it. I dig it. I like it. Make it 6. Throw in Brock Faber.
Coward. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Come on. You're right. No, I mean, yeah. Good. I think, top stacks. Let's get into it. Minnesota 1. Throw in Tarasenko. Throw in Hughes. Easy for me. It's Minnesota, however you want to say. And even if you don't go all the way. Actually, I did have a question I thought of while we were sort of going through stuff and being very serious and saying very smart things. Is there any interest you have in playing 3 defensemen on this slate with all the tomfoolery and cheap defensemen? Is that a thing that maybe you're like, that's actually not a bad idea? Or are you thinking end of the day, we're going for first?
It's not a bad idea. I wish I would. I mean, there's so many things that I wish I just had endless time and energy to do, but I do kind of feel like nowadays people are underplaying defense in the utility. But that's just a feeling that I have. It used to be, in the Eric Carlson, Brent Burns heydays, and the scoring was a bit different. Like 3D was almost a meta of sorts, and it was something that I had a ton of success doing. So on this slate in particular, given the way we've talked about it, I think you can make a lot of good lineups with three defensemen. Does that mean, you should do it? I don't know. I don't think it's as strong as like definitely yes. Um, but in general, that is something that I do think we should be considering more. If you sort of, asked me which way are we going, too much or too little, I think the answer is definitely too little of the 3D builds in contests.
Okay. But yeah, so I will stick with Minnesota.
Someone get on SaberSim and tell me what the Sims say.
Okay. Anyways, you have a stack?
Oh yeah, stacks. No, I really don't. Do you have a second stack?
I mean, right now, I think I'm going to just go with Pittsburgh 3 to fit with Minnesota 4-man sack situation. I think that actually is pretty sharp. Like on a back-to-back, it's going to see good run. It's all power play 2 correlated. I'm pretty in on it. Like that actually seems like a way to build tomorrow for success. It's either that or Buffalo 2-3, but I think this will be much less chalky. Which I don't even think Buffalo 2-3, whatever you call the Austin line, will be that chalky. But yeah, I think there's some upside there in Kindle, Mantha, and Brazil.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say Perfetti, Taze, Velarde, and then I looked at last game and they were glued to Logan Stanley, and I'm not sure.
So now you're gonna say it twice.
I'm not sure I'm ready to live in that world. So let's go the other side of that game. Let's do Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, and pick on Logan Stanley, who's just gonna blast in a goal from the point and make me so rich in my Florida Winnipeg game stack.
Okay. Well, I already said 2 stacks, so it's right back to you in the studio.
Right back to me. That's right. I mean, I want to know what's going to happen with most of these teams. So I guess by default, that brings me to Columbus top line, Fantilli, Marchenko. We know what they're going to do. 17K. I don't think they'll get much ownership. And yeah, I think all 3 players are pretty good here. Any winnable matchup.
Winnable matchup, good team, good player. I mean, that sounds like a recipe for success. Your cat seems to agree. Swear, as I said that, it purred the loudest I've ever heard on the entire podcast.
Tarasenko ownership, DJ. Tell me, the chalk donkey sniffer himself.
Under 20%.
What is the number?
Like, he's not going to be 20%. Like
4,300. Give me a number.
In what contest?
Let's say the main $20 or whatever it is. 10, 15, 18.
16.84.
16.84%. Okay. Right. I'll take a soft over. I'll go 19.8. Not quite 20, so DJ's technically correct, but still quite owned.
That is really the DJ experience. He was technically correct.
We do love it,
but we're not. But it didn't account for much, and he's still an asshat. Okay. Can you hang a goal by its petard for me now?
I will give you a goal. Guaranteed goal. Morgan Geeky, 5K.
There he is.
He's back. He finally got off the schneid. DJ, are you gonna go ask your wife about that?
No, I love get off the schneid. That's a DJ favorite.
Yeah. So that leaves me 6K for my final.
Do you have something in mind, or
not at all?
Potentially into your range here? No.
I have a few options that I don't mind using, so have at it. Whatever you want.
All right. I will start with. I have a few guys. I think what I really want to do is I want to pick a player on Dallas, but it just feels so unknown there that it's so hard to say. Like I want to just say like Wyatt Johnston, but if there's no Rantanen, then fuck that. So I think I'm just gonna fade that for now, and I am gonna go. I'll go Philip Forsberg. The train keeps going.
Okay, the train moves along. 6K left, guaranteed goal on the other side of Morgan Geeky. Let's go Rickard Rakell, 5,800. Top line against Edmonton. He's playing well. Can't argue that. Sidney Crosby, he's going to find him. Guaranteed goal, cash it in. Rickard Rakell.
I'd like to argue it, but I am unable to do so. God. What does one do here with 4K? And the answer to that question is it the Philly Pod Colson question?
Who's the birthday boy? Oliver Moore. You win?
Oliver Moore. You just got taken off the top power play, so let's. What about? I mean, Matt Duchene makes so much sense if it's no Rantanen. You know what? Screw it. Let's go Matt Duchene for now. And if Rantanen's in, I will adjust.
All right. DJ sending the global swap alert.
Global swap.
In the Discord.
So Geeky, yep. I already forgot your other guy. It was
Rakell.
And Forsberg Duchene.
Yep.
There we go.
Well, we did it. Just over an hour. The underbetters really got it in bad. You know, we were on such a good pace for the first, 20 seconds. And then they knew it was dead. So thank you all for listening. What does your weekend look like, DJ? Are we planning on a Saturday? I should be free.
Probably. I don't think I'm doing anything. I don't know. If I'm doing something, I've completely slipped my mind. I was maybe going to go to a simulator in golf, but
great.
I could go later or not at all.
Oh my God. We have an 8-game Friday slate.
What? I never looked.
Oh.
And what the hell is even that?
I'm going to do something on my newsletter, but my God, I don't know if it'll be a game-by-game breakdown of 8 games. I need to sleep, I guess.
9 on Saturday, too. 1 o'clock start Saturday.
Magical.
God, I'm honestly like, I'm almost only, I'm not literally, I'm looking forward to the Olympic break because it'll be fun. And I like fun, unlike you. But, man, every day there's just so many games. It is a lot. I just want to, like, I don't want a whole like 3 weeks off. I just want like one night where there's 2 games, and I can just be like, great. But all right,
I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, we're not slowing down. The train keeps on rolling, just like the Minnesota Wild. Okay.
All right, let's get out of here. Follow me on Twitter @FakeMoods. Subscribe to my newsletter, moods.beehive.com. Like I mentioned, Friday write-up of some sort. Maybe I'll pick a specific thing on Friday and just write about. I don't know. We'll see. I'll need to think about that. The big contest next week, I believe, is Tuesday, so there will be a recap also in the newsletter if you are in. I think it's a spin contest. In any case, it's big dollar entry. I think I have 1 ticket for it, so praise be. Be my last entry in the NHL DFS marketplace. If things keep going this way, and that's that. So
you're gonna fucking win that stupid contest because you're such a fucking asshole.
I better.
Oh my
Man.
God.
I
You're
just
just gonna be
you know
like,
what?
"Wah,
I
all I do is
deserve it.
lose. I'm a loser. I stink."
I
And then
am
you're
a
gonna win
losing
that
loser.
contest and you're gonna be like, "Actually, I was good all along."
Well, that's how DFS works. It's you need to finish first place. And guess who hasn't finished first place in ever? Me. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Whatever. DJ does betting stuff. He's literally the most profitable bettor on Tails somehow. He has a little picture to
That's what
prove it
it
and
said.
everything.
That's
So,
what it said today when
just-
I looked. Well, I got way more followers and I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." And then it said I was the most profitable bettor. I'm not putting any, I mean, it's just taking what I put in there and putting it into straight bets and saying that's true because I did go like fucking 11 for 13 the other night or 10 for 13 and all this shit. Like it just doesn't matter. But
I just hate it here. The world is
everything's
not a
bad
just
for
place.
just you. You're the
It's
only
not-
person suffering in the
It's not a
world.
just place. No, I don't like anyone suffering. That's the problem. It weighs, and it weighs. All
Yeah,
right.
that's it.
Fuck. Okay. On to the tennis. Let's
And the
call
golf.
it. Fuck golf. I'm not playing golf.
Boo.
I don't have anything that I do for golf that's like good. So why lose? Okay. God, we gotta go. Follow me. Follow DJ at DJ_Butcher94. Get all his winning bets and losing lineups. And thank you all for listening. From Doug, from DJ, from myself. Have a good Thursday, everybody, and we will see ya.
You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.